Alka finds a few mutual fund statements in the files after her father had passed away. She approaches the mutual fund to claim the money. She is told that she has to complete additional paperwork since there is no nomination in her name. Alka is not alone. Since nomination is voluntary, it tends to get neglected. Why is nomination important? If there is a nomination, on death of the original investor, the units can be transmitted to the nominee. Transmission is the process of transferring units held in a mutual fund folio to those who make a claim. If Alka were the nominee, she can establish her claim easily on her father's investments. If Alka were the nominee, the process is simple. The prescribed form for transmission can be downloaded from the website. Alka will have to submit the death certificate of her father and her own KYC and bank account details. Other documents such as claimant KYC, cancelled check, bank attestation of signature, up to 2 lakh, attestation by notary public or judicial magistrate first class. On receiving the request and supporting documents, the mutual fund will remove her father's name from the folio and transmit the units to Alka's name. Since Alka is not the nominee, her task got tougher. After the death of a person, there may be several claimants to the investments. The mutual fund acts based on direction from the deceased unit holder. Transmission is to the joint holder, if there is one. If there is a nomination, transmission is to the nominee. If there is no joint holder and no nomination has been made, the transmission is to the legal successors, who have to make a claim and support it. Alka is not a joint holder or nominee. She has to make a claim along with other legal heirs. Her mother and brother are the other claimants. Alka has to establish her credentials to make the claim. She has to get a list of documents attested or notarized and verified with originals. Probate from the court that validates a last and final will, if her father left behind a will and named her as a beneficiary. Succession certificate from the court listing the legal heirs. If there is no will, she should be named along with her mother and brother. No objection certificate, not signed by her mother and brother, relinquishing the claim to the investments in her favor. Indemnity bond absolving the mutual fund from any future claims that may be made by any other claimants. Alka should make sure she has understood all the rules and conditions, and has submitted correct and complete documents required by the mutual fund. Mutual funds are not responsible for equitable distribution of investments among heirs of the deceased unit holder. Absolves the mutual fund of its responsibilities. If there is a dispute, the person holding the units or redemption proceeds holds it in trust, pending final settlement. If Alka's brother changes his mind after signing the NOC, he cannot ask the mutual fund. He should stake his claim with Alka, who has been paid off after all the papers are in place. Alka wishes that her otherwise meticulous father had nominated her in the mutual fund folio. She decides to make nominations against all the investments that are now in her name.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.